Welcome back to 3-Day Weekend. I am out in the barn today because the garage is taken up by machines, waiting on parts, whatever. You know the drill. If you've seen before, you know the drill. We're always waiting on parts. So I'm going to be working on the Raptor today. This has not been moved in 21 months. Almost 2 years. 20 or 21 months. It's been a while. Next weekend, we're taking it out for the very first time. We've been using the RV, so we take the machines with us. But this year we're using the fifth wheel. The golf cart's in the back. We haven't seen much of the golf cart. But I need to get this thing ready to go. And one of the things I need to do is check the bearings. Because we're taking it to a semi-local place. It's about an hour away. But then later this year we're taking it to Maine, which is a 10 or 12 hour trip for me. So I need to get these bearings up and going. And yeah, there are 3 axles. So I need to do this job 6 times, and it's been a long time since I've done it, so I'll be remembering how to do it as we go. But let's get started on it. I'm already starting to remember why I don't like this job so much. The first is I gotta get this jack under there, but you can't do it from the side, so you have to crawl underneath and do it from in here, and it's super awkward and a pain in the neck. There's not a lot of space in the barn, but we're gonna make it work. The other one's under the slide, so that'll be fun. Use a mobile one, synthetic grease on these. That's what I've always used. So far, so good. So we're just gonna keep using them. I do have a new greasing tool. Well, I was gonna buy a new one. Turns out my dad had one, I've never used it. So we're gonna give that a try. We'll see how it goes. Ew! Oh, that went far. No, I got that one. Now I gotta work this tire out, and the skirt doesn't want to let it. Yeah, roll it. There we go. Hope it's just from sitting. It's probably okay. We're gonna find out. I want to see the bearing itself. So we're gonna pop this cap off real gentle so I don't break it. Pull the whole drum off of there. Do a full inspection and actually pull the bearings off. I used that lithium last time. It looks pretty red. I see a little brown on the inside. Overall, not bad. It's definitely used up though. Let me show you a little closer. Getting our first glimpse inside. I see it's mostly red, but starting to turn a little dark on the insides there. Definitely a good thing I'm doing it. I've seen a lot worse, so we're not in bad shape. And the washer. Outer bearing. Yeah, it's a little brown. A little brown. Definitely needed to be done. The whole drum can come off. I also brought out a roll of paper towels. Because we're gonna get messy. Here's the shaft. We're looking for wear marks. There's an inner bearing and an outer bearing, and any deep gouges or anything like that. I mean, you can see that a bearing has been here and one has been here, but overall that looks pretty darn good. Nothing major. There's a little bit of a scratch right here, probably from putting it on or taking it off, but that doesn't do anything. I'm not worried about it. Just right here and right here, and that looks good. And then you have the seal, which goes up against here, And you don't want that to leak. So generally it's a good idea to replace that inner seal as well. Brakes, we're looking at how much pad there is, and there's a good amount of pad on both of those. When we put this back together, and I remember, I'll adjust it. They're supposed to auto adjust. It's got a regular drum brake adjustment screw that you get to from the back side. So we can check that. And we are checking the magnet. Sorry if I'm making camera noises here. It's really dark in here. We're looking at these little dots. Those little dots are kind of like wear marks. If those are gone, you need a new magnet. But there is plenty of life on that. So that all looks good. We just need to get this inner bearing off so we can grease her up. Inner bearing, you can get it off a couple ways. The most common is with a hammer, and you pull, or you can flip it over. There's like a jet flying overhead. What's going on with that? And drop a large socket down in there so it sits on the bearing like so, and you can tap it out. Either way works. But I don't really see a lot of black. This is mostly red. So this held up pretty darn well. Now we have this off, same as these races. We're checking these races for any marks or rubs or anything. They feel pretty good to me. And this is your magnet surface. Obviously you want your seal to be really good, otherwise the grease can escape and get on the surface, and then your magnet won't get the friction that it needs, and your brakes won't come out, you know, because that's your mechanism. It's just a bad situation, so make sure your seals are good. I'll probably run down to the store and just grab 6 of them so we know. Napa can get them, or a local trailer shop or whatever. Pretty standard. Let's talk bearings. We've got the inner, we've got the outer. The outer is smaller, and see, that one's dark compared to this one. This one's pretty light, so that one was starting to get a little used up. Now traditionally you dump these in a little dish of gasoline and that old grease just dissolves right to nothing. You clean them right up, they look like new. And then you pack them. You put a big old glob of grease in your hand, and you just work them in like so until the grease comes all the way out and pops out the top. That's the old way. That's the way I've always done them. But we're gonna try the 3168 bearing packer. I don't even know where he got it from, but we're gonna try to use it today. If it fails, we're going back to the hand pack method. I'm not against the hand pack method, but you know, if you can make it work with this, why not? Why not? So you're gonna pinch a bearing in between these 2 discs. Then your bolt is a grease fitting, and it's gonna force grease into your bearing. Let me get this set up. We'll give her a try. In theory, when I squeeze this, eventually grease will come out of the bearing. Hey, that's working. Look, it's pushing out all the nasty grease. Yep, all around there. We're gonna keep going until I see red. Okay, that should do it. Let's see how it looks. I just don't feel good about it. I feel like there's a lot of wasted grease and it's still black inside of there. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. We're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. There's a lot of grease everywhere, but I'm just not convinced it's in here, and it's kind of mixed with the old. I don't know. I'm gonna get a dish and some gasoline and do this my way, which is not much messier than this way. So this is terrible. I feel like there's a lot of waste. I'm back. We got some gasoline. I'm using some non-ethanol mid-grade, but it doesn't really matter. We're just gonna get all this grease off here. Okay, that is a clean bearing. We got all the junk out of there. Looks good. Feels smooth. No issues. Let's check this one too. Oh, you probably can't hear it, but there's a tink, tink, tink. And I can feel an imperfection. And upon a close inspection, I found this. That, if it focuses on it, is a bad bearing. We can't put that back on here. I'll just tear it up. In fact, I don't know how it got so bad and didn't damage it already. So I'm gonna be looking for a new bearing to replace that one. What kind of bearings are these? Does it even say? Ooh, it does say something. China. It says China on it. Figures. Now we're ready to grease the bearings. So I got a big old pile of grease in my hand. And we're just gonna force it on through.
It looks very disgusting.
Eh. Most people would probably wear gloves. But I'm not most people. And we're doing it until it starts coming out. Then you turn it slightly and keep going. That looks pretty good. That bearing is ready for service. Normally I do the other bearing right now, my fingers are all greasy, but that bearing is retired.
You look like you've been in a crime scene.
It's alright. So I'm gonna put this wheel up, put a jack stand under it, and yank the second one off. See how far I can get today. We've taken all three off. Pulled the bearings and everything. I showed you the one bad bearing, that guy over there, that's pretty nasty. Is it focusing on that? How about if I hold it like this? Don't be too close.
There it goes.
There you go. And then I got the other bearing, and it's just starting to go, like right there. That guy has a little bit of a chip out of it. So I don't like that bearing. We're gonna throw that out. The third one, both bearings looked okay, but the way I see it, they're gonna go bad. So I went to Napa today. We're gonna put all new outer bearings the whole way around. I'm not fooling around. We're also putting new seals on every single drum. There's only 5 there. They only have 5 in stock. I pick up number 6 tomorrow. I also got, through some cross-referencing with my note from 2015, a magnet kit because, beautiful. Because we opened this one, number 3. We opened number 3 and the magnet fell out and the wire is broken off. These are 70 bucks, these magnets. That's no good. Hopefully it's my only one that's bad. So we're gonna grease up these new bearings. Throw them back on. Oh, I have a spare clip for this too. This guy fell off, but I have spare clips, so we can clip that back together. The tricky part is looking up this axle. This brake is a new era. I don't know, but it's marked for a Dexter 7,000. I know these are 6,000 pound axles, but I guess looking up the parts, 6,000, 7,000 were the same. So this part you've seen, we're gonna grease up these new bearings. Throw a new brake on there, we'll have to splice it. Put the drums back on. We can at least get 1 and 2 done before we have to go. Let's do it. Time to start putting these back in. I like to grease this raceway pretty good. Yummy. Before we begin, that ought to do it. And then we're going to throw the back bearing inside. Like so. And then we're going to tap them in. Ooh, I think they're the right ones. Perfect. I also like to grease up the shaft real good. Mmm. At least that's out of the way. And we're gonna throw that right in there. Yeesh. And place our washer, thusly. And then the nut. I like to go until I can't go anymore. Seems to be around out there. And then I back it off until it lines up with the nearest hole. I'm gonna throw a cotter pin in there, but I kind of mangled the old cotter pin, so we're not gonna reuse that one. We're putting a new one in. You're over at the house. I'll get it in a minute. There's your pin. Oop. Okay, one cap all cleaned out. We can just tap it in. Just tap it in. She's good to go. Cleaning drums, we got this one all prepped, ready to go. Brand new magnet, got the clip on there, got the wires all wrapped around. They go through the back, they come out, and they are solder sealed. To that one, there were wire nuts on there. I don't like wire nuts, they get wet. I'm gonna throw some, oh, it's dark in there, some zip ties to hold that wire up a little tighter, but it'll work for now. So we're about ready to throw some new bearings in there. We'll get the new seal on the back.
That's the old one.
We have a brand new bearing for this guy too. And then we're gonna be heading over to the other side.
Bring a brake too.
Yep. Welcome to our new workspace / fort under the slide. We've got all 3 tires off. We didn't fool around this time. We just yanked all the tires. Now we're gonna start tearing apart. See how bad the damage is. Hopefully it's not that bad. Inner bearing, perfect. Outer bearing, not so much. This light is terrible in here. So maybe you have to use your match. Oh, no way, I just found a 4th one. 3 bad rollers. This is the worst roller. You're very close to me. Did it focus on it? It's really dark. It did? Okay. So use your imagination. There were 3 really bad ones, and I just found one really just barely bad, so that's a darn good thing we're doing this now. I don't see any damage on the raceways though, so that's good. But new bearings just in time. So yeah, when we're all said and done, it's gonna have all new outer bearings. Inner bearings just repacked, re-greased. Yep. Hopefully the brakes are okay in the last 2. We're gonna keep on working. Greasing her up. Down Napa, they had my last seal ready today. Ooh, that light's really bright.
Yeah, it is.
We're good.
Catch.
You don't gotta smear it around. You don't have to smear it around.
I don't know. I just wanna.
You just want to. Huh?
Spreads it out.
Okay. Drop that bearing in there. It's like a cooking show. We prepared this bearing yesterday.
Yoink.
Yep. And seal.
Yoink.
Oh, I'll go grab a clip for the brake.
Oh yeah.
Those 2 were good. We are just about done, I'd say.
Yoink.
We're done. I got him. Crawled underneath, torqued everything down. 125 foot-pounds. That ought to hold him. I have to order 4 new tires. Those 2 are new. They've got 2020 stamps on them, but the other ones have 2013 stamps. They're bad. They're worn out. They're old. Tires shouldn't go more than, well, like 10 years. People say 7 sometimes. 10, I'm not going to stretch it past 10. Manufacturer spec on those tires is 10. So I'm going to do that and zip tie the wires, the brake wires, up to the axle. But I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'll throw the creeper under there and I'll be able to crawl under. It'll be easy. I'll pick up my mess. I have all of my part numbers written down, so we're good to go. Everything that I used. So next time I have a problem, this stays in the camper. If I have a problem on the road, on the highway or something, I can stop by Napa. I need part number 89186, a magnet kit. Boom, got it. They had it in stock at mine, minus 1 seal. So I can do that all remotely on the road, probably. Yeah. So that job ended up being a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. But I'm glad it's over. I'm really glad I did it, because 3 out of the 6 bearings were really, really bad. So all new outer bearings, we're good to go. I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you like the variety, just working on the camper, something a little bit different. I don't think I have a playlist for the camper. I'll just throw this in the shop video playlist. I have playlists for everything else, the truck and the side-by-sides and, I don't know, the bucket truck dozers in there. All that good stuff. So check out those videos and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I also want to say thank you, especially to those of you that join right through YouTube or go to Patreon, patreon.com/3dayweekend, and support me there. Really appreciate it. Keeps us going on all these projects, keeps me doing the video editing and sharing our experiences with you. So thank you very much for that. All right, well, that's going to do it for me today. Thanks again for watching. I hope to see you here for another video on 3 Day Weekend.